When you think about practicality from an Indian car consumer's perspective, you always think about high ground clearance, a tiny turning radius, and of course a compact body for you to maneuver around the city. What I've just described is the current market of crossover hatchbacks in our country, and today we are here to talk all about the pioneer of this segment, which is the Ford EcoSport. Today we're going to talk about, is this a good buy in the second-hand market? Is it good to tune? And of course, how is it to drive in today's day and age? My name is Bhavneet Vaswani, you're watching Auto Culture, and we are here to talk about the Ford EcoSport. Talking about the looks, personally, I think that the blend between SUV and hatchback has been perfectly executed. Talking about the front, the bonnet is square and long enough to be imposing, but not that long that it looks like Pinocchio. And the grille is also very nice and modern. And overall, on the outside, it has definitely not lost any modernity, and it looks like a 21st century car that could be maybe 2-3 years old. And good news is that the inside also has the same treatment. Step inside and it is a really nice breath of fresh air. It's quite spacious. You've got a lot of cubby holes everywhere, which makes it super practical. And everywhere you touch, the leathers and the plastics are pretty robust. First thing I've noticed is that the AC vents are nice and powerful, just like every American car that we've all witnessed. And the infotainment system is very nice and very responsive. It's got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so you've got pretty much all of the modern needs that you would want and expect from the interior of your car. Otherwise, the seats are super comfortable and the visibility as well is pretty nice. Now, talking about what's under the hood is this 1.5 liter TDCI block. Now, everyone talks about the 1.5 TDI, the 1.6 TDI, and all of the other VAG diesels that are super robust and very nice to tune. But people also argue that this 1.5 TDCI is equally as good as one of those two, because this also comes in the Figo, and a lot of people argue that the Figo is a much better TDI or a TDCI build than the Polos, and this is so much more practical. It comes with maybe 100 PS and 205 Newton meters of torque, but Wolf Moto make a stage 1 tune for this that pushes it all the way up to 135 PS, which is fantastic. That's a stage 1 tune and 30 bhp as a gain. That's fantastic. Have you ever been tired of scouring through the internet and searching for a car and just finding the same uninteresting cars that do not satisfy that car guy fire within you? Well, TDH Classifieds is your one-stop solution for all of your problems. Anything from a legendary classic to a family sedan to a daily-able hatchback, TDH Classifieds will definitely satisfy the car guy inside you. So what are you waiting for? Go to TDH Classifieds and get yourself the car of your dreams. The biggest thing that changed in the car market was the choice of preference from small hatches to bigger baby roomy SUVs, and Ford was very quick at anticipating that in India, and that's when they came out with the Ford EcoSport. And the Ford EcoSport mainly became the go-to mom car for any family. So these are very common in the second-hand market. Now, we all know about Ford's fate in our country, but according to reports, parts and aftermarket help is not a problem at all. Everything is fairly available in our country, and maintaining it is still pretty cheap. When you talk about the first impressions of driving this car, well, it's a very roomy interior and the visibility is fantastic. I can look 360 degrees with no problem. My rear view mirror is very, very good. Like, I have less view in my Innova, and even looking around it, the dimensions are perfect for someone who might be a little scared of driving a rather large car. So talking about the block itself, the 1.5 TDCI available in the EcoSport, this 2018 EcoSport, it comes with 100 PS and 205 Newton meters of torque. While the numbers itself might not sound impressive, the way it is delivered is pretty entertaining. Now, Ford had claimed that this and the Figo 1.5 TDCI had different maps, and the way that this turbo spools is a little bit less laggy, and the other one in the Figo would have a bit more of an aggressive spool and a bit more lag. But if you ask me, I don't find much of a difference. You still feel that there is that little notion of lag around 2000 RPM, and once it happens, the surge is pretty fun. So it also gives you a little bit of feedback, like when you actually punch the throttle, the turbo spool does come into the cabin and it feels rather nice and quite involving. The brakes feel rather good but slightly spongy, and one thing that I'm really happy about is the travel of this clutch pedal. It's really short, which makes it rather good for lazy people who want to just not move their left leg that much, and it feels fantastic. Talking about suspension travel, yes, it is on the highly sprung side where it might be a little noisy and bumpy on rough surfaces, but when it comes to handling and being nimble, it is great. It just loves to dart into one side or the other, and because of its dimensions, pottering around the city and maneuvering through traffic is really easy in this car. Now, talking about the steering, it's something that actually took me by surprise. It is rather direct, and the feeling is not super hefty, nor is it super light. It is just in that right spot where if you're in the city and you're pottering around, it's going to be rather comfortable, and it's not going to take you so much effort to just go from side to side. But if you pick up speed, there's enough feedback from the front wheels that you can be quite confident with the car and chuck it with not that much fear. And that's a good thing for people who are maybe novices, or if you need to give your car to the driver while your mum gets driven around town. It's great. It's not a intimidating car at all, not even at high speeds. Now, the EcoSport's TDCI engine is one of the nicest diesel engines under 2 liters to be sold in India even to this date. The tuning potential is actually pretty good, with support from tuners like Wolf Performance and Code 6 being abundant. Yes, aftermarket parts like intakes, exhausts may not be that easy to find, but many people have managed to produce some really impressive numbers from the 1.5 liter TDCI. Watch out for our next video on the Stage 2 EcoSport TDCI and how it is as a family-friendly diesel torque monster. Till then, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram, and comment down below if you would pick the EcoSport as your tuner-friendly daily driver. See you in the next one.